Hey there everyone, I'm Ace and you're watching Periodic Quest. You're obviously new to our channel because this is actually our first video. We're basically a big idea. Three nerdy best friends coming up with one of their biggest ideas, turning it into this. I'm Ace, you're watching Periodic Quest. Now, the entire idea of Periodic Quest is to bring you a YouTube channel, something that we've been planning to do for a long period of time. We have delayed this multiple times, but here we are. So the entire concept for this is to show people that three nerds, or what you consider them to be, are not who you think they are. People usually consider them to be, kind of socially awkward, or people who can't reach out to other people. We are here to prove that mentality wrong. We can do anything as well as just to see you guys. In fact, we're here to talk about superheroes today, so way to start. Anyway, today's topic is going to be Marvel vs. DC, something that's been going on for a long period of time. And when I say long, I literally mean it's been over a century now. So, which franchise is actually better, Marvel or DC? Obviously, if you dislike the video, it's because your franchise didn't win. Don't hate it because it didn't, just judge it by its content. So, we're three best friends. My name is Ace. My other friend is Davin, who will be actually editing this video. He's a little camera shy, although he does have his own channel, link in the description. And Daze actually couldn't be here with us today because, homework and all that. Schoolwork issues, I have that too, but I was dragged by our editor to make this video. Anyway, so today's topic is Marvel vs. DC. For once and for all, we're gonna find out which franchise is actually better. And if you're new, a sub to the channel would be wonderful, and that it's not optional because you are new. Anyway, so the point of this entire YouTube channel is to bring out multiple ideas that we all have to
2 hours later
together, and to show the entire public community what three people can do together, who people consider socially unstable, are actually much more than what any other person can do. So we'll be talking about superheroes, a lot of science, we'll be doing comparisons, top 10s, a lot of things. So if you are excited for all of that, just leave a like below, subscribe. It's free, you can always change your mind, and you'll be the, kind of the winner of our first videos. So subscribe if you want to, and let's get straight into the video. Marvel vs. DC, once and for all, which franchise is better? Let the fight begin. Okay, so let's get this started. Before we start, let's just go on a quick disclaimer. First off, this video does not criticize any of the franchises. If you like one better than the other, and if the other one wins, don't hate the video, because judge it by its content. And it's not the video is not telling you to hate a franchise. It's just kind of comparing based on our opinions. And if you're still offended after watching the video, read the disclaimer from the start. Let's begin. Now, we'll be judging both the categories on 5 criteria: superheroes, supervillains, movies, TV shows, animated series and all that. Basically every other franchise of media other than movies, and storyline. Now, before the DC fans freak out and say why is everything that DC is good at in one and movies a separate thing, because if we put animated shows, TV shows, series, everything in different columns, DC is easily going to overpower Marvel. So we'll have to kind of make it a fair battle. So let's get started. Criteria number 1, superheroes. Both the franchises have had incredible superheroes to offer, ranging from Kryptonian Men of Steel to crime-fighting, night-stalking vigilantes.
I'm a night-stalking, crime-fighting vigilante.
Ranging from super soldiers to billionaire playboys who fly in metallic suits. But which franchise does have it better? Let's judge these superheroes based on 3 categories: power limitation, originality, and finally, concept. Now, first off, originality. I'm pretty sure that most of the people know that Marvel has ripped off DC a lot. In fact, the concept for Iron Man was taken from Batman, Moon Knight, Batman, Hyperion, Calric, and Sentry, Superman. There have been so many cases where Marvel has ripped off DC superheroes, and there's a lot. For the originality, we'll go to DC. But when it comes to power limitations, this is towards Marvel. When I say power limitations, I mean making your superhero balanced, not too overpowered, not too weak. And I think this is where Marvel kind of shines, because DC has most of their heroes and villains kind of, to the top, like gods, Superman, Darkseid.
Super or otherwise, you're merely a man. And I am a god.
Superman Prime 1 million, who can basically destroy the earth with a snap of their finger. Now, next thing is concept. By concept, I mean storyline, how they're portrayed in the movies, comic books, and all that. And when it comes to portrayal, I think DC has a slight edge over Marvel because although DC has had great characters like Iron Man and Captain America, but when it comes to concept, I think DC has it better with origin stories. DC has it better with spreading media and how they tag that origin story into actual movies. For example, the concept of Zack Snyder's cut was it started because of Dawn of Justice. And Dawn of Justice was based on Bruce's parents dying. The way Snyder names his movies is legendary. I mean, Dawn of Justice, basically meaning the start of justice. That's where the Justice League starts. So I think in concept, DC has it a little better than Marvel. Now, next criteria is going to be supervillains. Big bad menaces, they can do it all. It takes more than a singular superhero to stop them, taking an entire league. Now, again, both these franchises have had great superhero villains. Ranging from mad titans like Darkseid of DC and Thanos of Marvel, also Apocalypse of Marvel, and Galactus of Marvel, where they're just destructive titans that can take on anyone they want. From insane people like Joker and actual mercenaries like Deathstroke. So which franchise does have it better? Let's find out. Again, when it comes to originality, DC has the edge here because Thanos and Apocalypse taken from Darkseid. So many instances where Marvel just ripped off DC, and in this case, the problem is Marvel's top villains, we're talking Ultron and Darkseid, Thanos here, are taken straight away from DC's characters. For example, Ultron was ripped off from Brainiac, and Thanos was ripped off from Darkseid. So, despite the fact that Marvel does have pretty good villains, in originality they lose the edge. But then when it comes to power limitation, again, Marvel takes the edge here because of obvious reasons. DC likes to make their superheroes overpowered, Marvel likes to balance them, and I think that's quite the reason why Marvel's movies succeed a lot, because in comics you like to see bam, but in movies it's hard to get that CGI. And then final step is again storyline and concept. Now again, here is origin story, screenplay, design. Again, I think DC has a small edge here because if you look at Thanos' origin story, I mean sure, he's a mad titan who wants to impress Lady Death, and for that he causes destruction. I mean, that's pretty good, no one would have really thought of that. But you're comparing that to a son of basically gods who was born on an apocalyptic planet, who originally started out to be Euxus, got his uncle's battle axe, almost slayed Zeus and the Ares, however lost to them, but then turned into this Omega beast after obtaining Omega powers and powered mother boxes, then killed both Zeus and Ares. So I think again, DC has a slight edge here. Point DC. So our scores are 2 and 0. Marvel fans, don't short near heart. The next topic is for you. Movies. I think it's more than obvious that Marvel has it better in movies. Surely DC has had great movies like The Dark Knight. We're talking Wonder Woman, Man of Steel. Dawn of Justice is also a pretty good movie. And Snyder Cut was, I think, one of my personal favorite movies of all time. But when it comes to movies, DC lags behind Marvel. I mean, the most box office hit movie till now has been Endgame. I don't think there is any competition with that. No one's going to disagree. When it comes to movies, I personally am a DC fan, but when it comes to movies, I'll agree that Marvel has crushed DC. Since Joss Whedon started Avengers, DC's just gone for a downfall. Joss Whedon did try to even direct theatrical cut, but you don't want to induce light in the dark DC universe, and don't give Superman the blue suit, the black suit. The fourth and second last criteria is basically every media of distribution but movies. Now, in every other media like animated series, TV series, live action series, and all that, I think it's obvious DC has an edge. We're talking The Flash. There's so many cases where DC has shined the head off of Marvel. Marvel doesn't really have more live action series. I'm sure there's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., not that impressive. And in animated series, I think Marvel is fine. I mean, there's Ultimate Spider-Man, there's Avengers Assemble, Spectacular Spider-Man, and in the 1990s they had a lot. But in the end, DC has always just overpowered Marvel when it came to these things. And in the comic strips, Marvel has comic strips in such a way where skipping from one scene to another is kind of quick. However, I suggest you read Batman Beyond the Shoe one. Read the first page, close your eyes, just think about what you read. It's going to feel like an animated series and you'll find it. This is why DC has it better in comics than Marvel. Mind DC. Our score is 3-1. We're moving on to the final criteria, and in my opinion, the most important one, and that is how one franchise is able to connect the storyline. Now, in storyline, it's pretty hard to dictate because both franchises have had excellent. I mean, it started with Avengers, where the Tesseract was with Loki, then the Tesseract turned into the Power Stone, then we got Age of Ultron, then that was kind of related to Infinity War, and then Infinity War came out, and all. Age of Ultron, Mind Stone, obviously, and then the Infinity War came out, and there was Civil War in the middle. I mean, the way movies are connected to finally lead to Infinity War, with Thanos having all the Infinity Stones, and that finally leading to the Endgame, where it's the final battle. It does make a lot of sense. I mean, even the way they name their movies is pretty good. And when Doctor Strange says we're in the Endgame now, I think we all had our nose clogging. And finally, I think when it comes to DC, they might have it a little better. I mean, I'm not saying that DC's movie quality is better than Marvel or their CGI effects are better than Marvel. Obviously, Marvel has it much better than DC. But we're talking the way DC connects movies. It started out with Man of Steel, where General Zod, Superman's weaknesses, his strengths, everything came out. Then we started with Wonder Woman, where Ares, a lot of things happened. Actually, Wonder Woman was kind of a key to connect all of this. And then Batman got to know about Wonder Woman in Dawn of Justice. Man of Steel, Wonder Woman were kind of connected, then they were totally connected in Dawn of Justice, and then Dawn of Justice led to Justice League, Dawn of Justice, and the Justice League were almost completely inspired from the Dawn of Justice. And I'm not talking about the theatrical cut, I hate the theatrical cut, I'm talking about the Snyder cut where Steppenwolf was like a badass. So I think although Marvel's movie quality is way above DC, the CGI effects, the way they make nanotech, I love nanotech, anything is much better than DC, but the way DC connects movies, I think that's the reason why I like DC. The way they connect movies and the way they have more Easter eggs, Snyder sitting in the coffee shop, I mean, that's something we all have to respect. So I think this, based on my opinion, I think that DC won this round. The winner is DC, just, for this one. It may be that if Marvel gets new comics, such as more of Amazing Spider-Man or more of their own TV series, it might be that Marvel might outclass DC. Don't shorten your hearts yet. The battle is never ending. It's been going on for a century now. It's not going to finish yet. Justice League versus the Avengers, Marvel versus DC, X-Men versus Doom Patrol. There's a lot going on. Also, our next video is going to be top 10 of the most overpowered superheroes, kind of inspired from this one, and then we're going to top 10 most overpowered supervillains. So get excited for that. Subscribe, it's free, you can always change your mind. And with your permission, I'll be signing off. Again, please, don't hate the video because your franchise didn't win. Judge it by its content. With that, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one.